I'm wondering in your opinion, because obviously in a perfect world, everyone will get custom fit stuff for everything like that.
Yeah.
But if you had to pick like certain things where it's more beneficial to get like custom fit for things versus, trying to find something that our user on the market and trying to best fit.
Irons are probably, in my opinion, the most important thing to get fit because you are really standing so standard and swinging so consistently for like predictable outcomes, predictable yardages. Driver, we change shapes and flights and spin. Wedge, you probably never hit the same power wedge shot. You're always kind of adjusting off of that. So I find that anything that players are adjusting and changing constantly, they kind of get used, like I was saying, you kind of get used to the club and used to what it can kind of do and perform. Whereas irons, I just want to stand there, I want to put it on the ground, I want to swing, and I want it to kind of work through the turf the way it's supposed to and hit the center of the face. So these things are like wildly more important to fit. I've seen players with terrible driver fits that they make work. And then they're hard to like fit into what should work because they've gotten used to it. Whereas irons, it's usually night and day. If we get someone who just isn't fit properly for an iron and fit them into something correct, it's amazing. They just sort of look back and they're like, I'm not doing anything different. I'm like, that's the whole reason that we're doing this. So yeah, for me, it's always irons.
Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. In today's video, I'm gonna be showcasing my iron fitting with Tim. As you would have heard, he says that this is the most important club that you need to get fit for in your bag. As you'll see in this fitting, there are 3 things that he changes that drastically improve my iron performance. I've left this video rather uncut so you can see this whole process take place. You'll see my mishits, you'll see the dialogue between myself and Tim. This will just give you a better perspective of how an iron fitting will go, and you can have some expectations of what your iron fitting will look like and just kind of the results that you can get out of it. I also want to announce I'm going to be giving away some Rip It grips, but more on that at the end of the video. And guys, if you're new here, my name is Chonger. I'm an average golfer with the goal of trying to get to scratch. And if you haven't already, hit that subscribe button. I have some more exciting videos with Tim on the way. You don't want to miss that.
Yeah, sweet. How's your game been?
I feel like my shots have been feeling good. I just haven't been able to score. Like my driver, it's been pretty good. All my playing partners are like, wow, this GT's amazing kind of thing.
Would you say that your approach when you're playing still is fairly technical? Like you're kind of checkpointing everything that you have to kind of do to hit a golf ball still? Do you think that's kind of like, or are you really in your shot? Like, are you into shot making? Because I would say that when players start to get really good at scoring, and that's the big difference between like shot making and scoring, I have a lot of players that swing it well, swingers. I have a lot of players that play well, gamers. They're maybe not the same. Sometimes their swings are not like perfect or great even, but they're really good at like engineering where the golf ball has to kind of go. So at some point you have to get really comfortable with shot making. And if it's still a technical thing that's kind of tripping you up while you're out playing golf.
I think it's since I haven't been playing a lot as much, like I'm kind of, since I almost take my swing thoughts a bit onto the course.
Yeah, it's easy to.
But I think I lose a lot of strokes in my short game and stuff. Actually, I would say.
What club is this?
This is a pitching wedge.
Okay. I would say once you get kind of loose with the wedge, we'll get to your 7 iron.
We can
and then
go to the 7
we'll
iron.
save the bulk of your energy for the iron fitting. And then we can talk about gapping a little bit too. This way for a sec.
So this is actually my very first set of irons that I've had. So I haven't changed them out since
this set that you're currently playing. Yeah, okay, cool. So there's gonna be some reminiscing when they're gone. You're gonna miss these guys. It's funny, right? Like whatever we put in your hand, any player, whether it's right or wrong for them, the longer you play them, the more you learn them, right? So you learn how to deliver the club or kind of wait on the shaft or know that they come out a little higher or a little spinny or whatever it is, you kind of learn your tools. So whatever we fit you for, hopefully the learning curve is a little bit easier, that it's not something that you have to figure out, that it can kind of match up a little bit more to how you naturally sort of move the club. Because I think, like the big caveat is you have to hit the center of the face. We're at 7 iron now. The big caveat is we have to hit the center of the face. Whatever club gets you there most often, and whatever swing gets you there most often is probably the right one. And just try to kind of.
I think right now my miss, similar I think with my driver, it's a left.
Yeah, okay.
So right now, that's why I've been trying to get it. Sometimes if they go a bit to the right, I've almost been like holding off the face, I feel like.
Okay, so on the next, I don't know, 4 iron swings that you make, we'll kind of pick out the one that's really good, that you really, really like. We're starting at that little post just left of TrackMan. That's our target. That one that's kind of closest to us. So we'll look at the bottom 4 panels here.
Yeah.
Where it goes swing direction, that happens just before club path. Face angle and club path are a measurement at the moment of impact. And then their relationship is face to path. So what you're gonna see here is the direction that you're kind of swinging the golf club and how you arrange the face. And that might unlock a little bit of what's happening when you hit a golf ball. So on that last one, you swung a little left of your target, or swinging to the left. And the face was closed, but it wasn't closed as much as where you were swinging. So the face was a little bit open. So this was a push, just a slight push. Maybe sometimes when you swing over in this direction, the face closes up a little bit more. I'd say anytime you lose a golf ball in either direction, it's face first. So you think of like, the face is probably really closed for you.
It's funny because actually it's weird to see my swing path out to in right now because I've so much had it in to out.
Sure.
But I haven't been working on TrackMan or anything since I've made some of it changes. So who knows what.
It's a pretty good one, yeah. I think you'd be happy with this 7 iron.
I'd be happy with that on the course.
Yeah, so you look at that swing direction a little bit from the left, a little less left at the moment of impact, and then your face kind of hanging open about 3 degrees to sort of get it online. So swinging a little left of your target. This would be like a pull fade slightly, but more of that face is kind of turning it into kind of a push. Not terrible at all. Great, good shot.
Like as I say, I'm so scared of the left, I almost feel like I'm...
Good swing there. Okay, so that's a really nice one. Nice looking 7 iron right off the middle of the face. Numbers are pretty small down here. It's gonna carry a long way. Yeah, great. So in that like 174 kind of carry.
I think I'm better hitting the middle of the face with my irons than my driver.
Yeah, well I mean, there's your last 3 hits, right? That's your heat map.
Yeah.
It couldn't be more center. It looks like a dartboard. That's great.
Yeah.
That's awesome. And this is the average of those 3 shots. So this is kind of what I wanted to see is here's your swing speed, there's your ball speed, that's what you're creating in efficiency. You're really efficient. I would argue that we're gonna look for what the best players in the world have, which is to create a little deficiency out of this. So you're creating a lot of ball speed, which is a lot less spin than we probably want off of a 7 iron, which if you look at the carry distance and the total distance of 10 yards, and the land angle of around 45 degrees, we're just gonna try to take your plane and try to land it a little bit more like a helicopter. Just try to get this thing to drop down. Because you're gonna score better if your landing window and stopping window is tighter together. So we're looking for spin.
Okay.
You have enough club head speed that we should see it in and around 6,000 or up.
Yeah.
PGA Tour player 7 iron delivery is 95-ish miles an hour. 92 miles an hour, 92, 93, somewhere in there. But their spin rates are higher than the club to the thousands. They spin their 7 iron like 7,600 RPM, all for like stopping power. So I think that's what we'll look for. Let me just see the makeup of these things. So this is AP2, 2014 model. Do you know the shaft that's in here?
I think it's just the dynamic gold, whatever, regular shaft.
Regular, right?
Yeah.
That's why the spin is, that's why it's kind of kicky and lively. Okay, so we're gonna start you with, I mean, here's the head lineup, right? I don't think we're going here. They're just really nice, they're just gorgeous looking, but there's not much application for this unless you're really looking at reducing spin or having like insane feedback on your miss hits. Most people don't love that. So we're gonna live like in this category here, and 83% of tour players now have blended sets. So they don't play the same head from pitching wedge to 3 iron. They've got a mixed sort of bag depending on what we need. The T100 and the 150 really launch the ball in the same window, but the 150 goes 5 yards further. It creates a little less spin and a little bit more ball speed. It's the loft and where the mass is. So these are like 1A and 1B as far as probably we're gonna fit you for. The T200 is a great iron. It's a forged face. it launches it a little faster than the T150. But if we're looking to add some spin, this might not be something that we really enter into your bag until maybe like a 4-iron or a 3-iron if we deem that you need height and a little bit more launch.
Sure.
So really we're like in here and then trying to figure out what shaft that we're going to kind of go through. They go as heavy as like 135 grams all the way down to like 88 or 90 grams. So we'll kind of see the gauntlet there and how that affects swing weight, which is kind of the big deal. If I put a light shaft in this head feels really heavy, that might be a good thing.
Yeah.
Or vice versa, where the head feels light, that also might be a good thing to sort of alleviate some spin. So we'll see kind of how it goes, but we'll probably start with the T100, even though that's sitting there. We'll start with this one. And this first shaft that you're going to start with, regardless. So this is going to be similar to what you have in your hands. It's just going to beef up into a stiff rather than probably that regular.
Sure. That was one thing when I was first getting my first iron set. I know obviously when you first start out, most people kind of want a more chunky iron to help with like launch and stuff.
Yeah.
But I didn't like the look of it down when I was, and I kind of almost just wanted to feel if I mishit a shot.
So we're going to go T100. We're going to go S300 shaft. The tags. Perfect. Done. Okay. First 7-iron there.
Okay.
So this is the T100.
Okay.
Standard lofts for Titleist, which are 46-degree pitching wedge and then 4-degree increments from there. The 150 will be 2 degrees stronger than that.
Seems like it has a little thinner top line.
Sure, it does. Yeah. I mean, this is inspired by tour players. This is the #1 iron played by tour players. Most of all of the guys on the Titleist staff have a version or a T100 in their bag, which is kind of cool. Some of them have the blades and kind of skip it, but yeah, it's definitely the most popular tour iron. So we're gonna look for similar sort of delivery patterns. Club head speed up a little bit. Spin rates are low, but you got the face pretty well closed on this one. Okay. Swing a little bit more through. 80. Face is still a bit closed. About 3.5 degrees closed to where you're swinging. Again, the clubs that you had before had a little bit of offset. These ones do not, so they're pretty true. You're going to want to see this face a little bit more open.
Offset as in the fact of, what does that mean?
Yeah, so the AP2s literally sit a little like that. The longer the club goes, they used to really offset the irons into the long irons to help the launch, to get the golf ball up a little bit. But when you do that, you've also got a club that's kind of loaded to always look like and leading that it's going to be closed or helping you assist in the close. Yeah. So these ones are not. They sit really true in the square. So if you get kind of a closed club face, that's just you keeping that club face closed. It's okay. So it's a little smaller, right? A little less forgiving. You're having a bit more difficulty finding the center of the face. That's a good swing. It's up in the air. It's not really giving us any more spin. And it's not giving us any more distance. So right away it's like, well, why don't you just play your irons that you have? Yeah. But we'll get to the good stuff.
I can feel when I mishit it though, for sure.
Sure. So we're gonna go from that one. Just gonna clean this up a little bit here. We're gonna go from that one to the 150. Just gonna get the dirt out of the grooves. So we can actually spin the ball. Okay. We've seen enough of this one so far.
Didn't really perform.
So far. No, that's okay. We'll come back to it for sure. We're gonna come back to the head. You're gonna get used to just looking down at those ones. So I'm gonna bring that out and we're gonna go T150. And we're going a little heavier shaft. This is AMT white. I'll explain the AMT series in a second, but
sure,
you are good to go. Let me know if you notice anything or anything feels different when we start changing these clubs around.
Yeah, I'll just wait till I feel like I hit a good.
Of course, yeah.
I feel like, I don't know, it's like in the grip or something. It just feels more sturdy.
Yeah. So I don't know. Maybe I explained this to you last time, kind of how I do fittings, so I can kind of source out people. It's called Goldilocksing. So you give someone something kind of like standard off the bat, and then
Yeah.
we go either really heavy,
Yeah.
like way too heavy and stiff,
Yeah.
and then we go really, really light. So that's coming next, the
Yeah.
the lightweight shaft. This is that shaft. So AMT white is boardy, it's heavy, it's stable.
Yeah.
So we're gonna see pretty true impact or true spin off of this face. It's heavy, so it's a little harder to swing fast, but not a bad club for someone who's looking to kind of load a little slower. What you'll notice is a big drop off in club head speed.
Yeah.
Because you're laboring with a shaft that's a little bit heavier than maybe you're used to. Not that you can't handle it, you're just not used to it. So we'll change it up a little bit here.
It's so weird because I don't know, I haven't been able to hit the center almost in any of these.
That's okay, we'll get there. I'm gonna give you a little bit of adjustment in lie angles too. Play around with that. There's a good one.
That felt good.
Yeah, there's a good one. Okay, so let's look at those numbers. I mean, really stout shaft. This is probably not the one we're gonna fit into. But let's just see what that comes up with. So heavy shaft gives us a lot less spin. The launch conditions are pretty nice. Similar kind of to what you were coming up with, but you're working harder. You're trying to swing really hard, but you're 2 or 3 miles an hour slower or 2 miles an hour slower than you're swinging with your irons because it's a lighter shaft. So right away I'm like, this is a little too much.
Yeah.
Okay, so we go from there to something that is gonna be feeling a little bit different. This is a nip-on shaft that's 88 grams, call it 90 grams in the stiff shaft. And this is the T200 head. So I said this could be a possibility. The T200 is just a little bit more forgiving. Give me 1 sec before you jump off. We're gonna go nip-on 880. Okay, cool. That's kind of nice, isn't it?
Yeah.
We're probably gonna float pretty close to this. So I love this, right? So we get kind of everything we want in terms of launch conditions. We got that land angle up a little bit steeper, but because this head spins a little bit less, you can kind of think like the T100, and then the T150 spins like 200 to 500 RPM less. And then the 200 spins 200 to 500 RPM less. So this could spin like 1,000 less, but because all the mass is low in the head, it launches really high.
Yeah.
So it's like, it does its job, but it's still giving us a pretty big window of like, you're hitting the front of the green and you're like, sit.
Yeah.
And it just won't. It's gonna still jump off on some of these fast greens. So shaft cool, super cool on one swing, for sure.
So is it the spin that creates the descent like angle, or?
Yes, so a little bit of speed, a little bit of spin, and a little bit of like descent angle, so how the player attacks the golf ball. But notice how high this golf ball is going all of a sudden.
Yeah.
And how quickly it's coming off the face. It probably feels amazing.
Yeah.
Almost too amazing.
Yeah.
So this is where I gotta calm a player down and go, okay, you don't want your 7-iron to go 190 yards sometimes.
Yeah.
You're playing it at around 180 yards. That'd be really cool, kind of total.
Yeah.
Touching the ground at around 177 would be great, but you don't want to hit it 190 one time over the back of the green where you're posing on it, and then now it's in the trees. So we want to tighten up. We just want to increase land angle. We want to get a little bit more spin into this. So it looks like to me right away, this shaft is like very close.
Yeah.
Because you swung it so freely, and we got everything we kind of wanted out of it. Hit a couple more with that T200 because it'll be a good one for us to come back and look at. But I'm gonna steer you now into like a little lighter weight shafts for the rest of the hits here. So we go backwards down to 150. Nice, right?
Yeah.
Free
it doesn't
flowing.
feel like I'm doing much work.
That's kind of what we're hoping for. So we're gonna eliminate the heavies.
Like that's 200 total almost. Like.
This was also, I did not tell you, but this was also the first iron that I put into a 2-degree upright position for you.
Okay.
Where you started to find the center again. All the other irons that you've hit other than yours were standard lie angle.
Yeah.
And you were struggling a little bit in the heel, and you were struggling a little bit with kind of a muffled contact. So to me, it sounded like that you were kind of hitting the ground like this. So I needed to stand the shaft up to kind of meet where you were sitting. And then now on the last 4 shots that you've hit, you're getting pretty close again.
Oh yeah, I think I should have mentioned, I think my irons were in a bit of
It's fine, we were gonna find it anyways. Yeah. I don't ever really fit anymore. We used to fit with like a lie board and tape. So you used to bang a board with tape, but the board does something, people figure it out, and they cheat it, and it doesn't really give us the true read. The best read is like where it's hitting on the face. Like if it's hitting way in here, you gotta move it so that it hits here. If it's hitting way over there, we gotta move the head so that it, like if you keep lighting up the same spot, that's like the best thing ever. Because then all we have to do is just move the club around so that you can start to hit that spot a little bit more. If you're like all over the place, I almost can't help you. It's like we just got to give you like a giant head to hit. Let's try.
That's how my Golf Town lesson worked a long time ago. There's the lie board. And I was almost scared to hit the lie board because it's too hard. I was like, do I want to hit this iron on the board?
We have the ability with TrackMan, ball flight. Like I used to fit with just ball flight. We would draw a line on a golf ball. Just a Sharpie marker on the back of a golf ball, and then you'd hit it. And depending on how it was tilted, we'd kind of fit lie angle that way too. So I think there's better ways than introducing something else. So I think you're really gonna like this combo. This is close, kind of in that range. So this is S300. Oh, hold on, before you go. I know you hit that one great. I know you hit that one great. I'm gonna delete it.
Oh yeah. Don't wanna skew the results.
No. Hey, we wanna kind of look at it true here. So we're gonna go back. Ooh.
This one feels heavier in the grip.
Yes.
Or it feels
so we're back to a little heavier weight shaft. But we're in the T150 again.
Okay.
So we should see a little bit more spin out of the 150. And now we're at S300, but I'll tell you what I did that's different with this S300 after you hit a couple of shots. So nip on big winner. Good. Nip on, nip on, nip on. Big and heavy. Big and heavy.
Oh, look at that. What is that?
What's that? Oh, that's a coyote. Hey. Hi. Looks mangy. He looks like he's hunting. There's a lot of little loose runs. Get going, buddy. Not that one.
That felt nice.
Good.
So do you fit other things besides Titleist? I see the ping and calo.
Well, I could fit anything. Like they're all pretty much the same as far as fittings go. Most of my fittings, just because these carts aren't complete, so they just have iron heads in here. I have kind of the complete run of the Titleist stuff in here. So when I'm fitting someone, I always will go there first. And if they go, oh, can I also try an iron? I know that they can, because usually they end up with Titleist anyways.
Yeah, I was like, I'm a Titleist guy anyways. So it doesn't matter.
Yeah.
I just saw the other stuff. I was curious.
Yeah, I mean, subjectively, if I was a customer and I wanted to kind of like find the best of the best, I'd either kind of gravitate to one company or I'd want to just try out everything, which can be a pretty lengthy process. Okay, so this is a decent combo. It's given us pretty good numbers here, but the speed's down a little bit. Let's try. What did I put together there? You can hit one more with that one if you'd like while I'm doing this.
Sure.
So you're liking the 150 and the 200 head, I would say.
Yeah.
Right? In terms of performance, they're kind of working for you. Not that the 100 wasn't. It was just the 100 with the setup that we had. It was a little bit trickier. Okay, we're gonna try a cool exotic shaft.
But yeah, like you say, I haven't really seen my spin that high yet.
Not yet. So it's a little bit of you, right? Obviously, you're delivering less spin than more. I have players that come in here and I can't get them out of 9,000 RPM with a 7-iron because it's just the way they deliver the golf ball. So we go opposite. Here's a heavy shaft. Here's more weight. Here's whatever. Let's bring it down. It looks like I'm leaning you more on the light end just to kind of create spin for you out of the shaft. Also, as you continue to sort of work on your swing, that's something that that'll definitely come up where you're like, okay, let's create a bit more spin. Modus, upgrade, tour shaft. A little lighter, 105. Lighter than the heavy one, but not as light as the nip-on shaft.
Yeah, it feels lighter.
Yeah. Yeah. This is a great shaft. So we got lots of speed out of that one. Club head speed, ball speed, height's up a little bit. But again, we're back in the 200s, so the spin rates are going to stay a little lower. We're just going to get a climb in apex because of where the bulk of the mass is in that shaft.
So even with a higher apex, that doesn't necessarily mean more stopping power?
It's not spin, well, yes, it does, right? So there's multiple ways to stop a golf ball.
Yeah.
One that we think of immediately is friction, right? Stopping.
Yeah.
But when the ground is almost frictionless, so in the middle of summer, or think like US Open conditions, where the first bounce isn't like absorbing material and spinning, it literally is just hopping.
Yeah.
That's the only way you can stop it. So guys, when they go to the US Open, they look at that land angle for their iron approaches really, really hard to make sure that they can get it up. So they do it however they can, either loft adjustment, ball adjustment, a little bit of swing, just to make sure that they can land it steep enough because spin isn't gonna hold them.
Yeah.
So yeah, there's a couple different ways to get there. We're looking for land angle however we can get it.
Yeah.
Spin is obviously a component of that. But when you hit irons like this, you would imagine that for 8 months of the year, this thing stops where you want it.
Yeah.
And maybe for 4 months where it's really firm or whatever you're playing, the ball's gonna release a little bit. But now we're starting to get a bit closer, right? Almost 45 land angle. We're at about almost 5,000 RPM of spin.
Yeah.
I said upper echelon, like we have that optimizer on here. So TrackMan's gonna take that data and go, hey, listen, for how fast you're swinging, we'd wanna see, give me my optimizer screen. We'd wanna see, right? Optimal at 81 miles an hour is really 163 yards of carry. Attacking a little bit steeper, spinning it a little bit higher off of the face, not having as active ball speed that's in there, launching it in the right window, spinning it at around 6,000 RPM, kind of like I said for your speed, and your height is there. So like you can kind of get to that number. Hey, it's going high, but it's not going high with maybe the amount of spin. This is optimal, right?
Yeah.
So this is like mid trajectory, not too high, this speed for you to be able to kind of hit really nice, steeper landing 7-irons. You're pretty close here. With a club that's really built to accelerate the golf ball, it's not surprising that some of those things are a little low or high of what we're looking for. But pretty cool. They're just coming out nice. Coming out really nice. Modus has got you moving a little bit quicker, which is cool. It's a pretty popular shaft on the PGA Tour, but we get, every once in a while, we get a big rocket like that one off of this T200 face.
Yeah.
So I leave the T200s for where I think that could be really useful.
Yeah.
If I had a 4-iron from 200 and plus yards coming into a green, and I just wanted to make sure that it got there, and I wasn't concerned if it went a little long or a little short, I just need more, that's a 4-iron. If I want to like make sure my 7-iron stops next to the pin, I don't want to have to yell at it like, oh my gosh, Sid, why is it going so far?
The scoring clubs, you want to be more precise.
Okay, so here comes the combo that we've been waiting for. Okay, speed's there, a little in the heel, sounded a little bit off.
Yeah.
Not terrible. This is the adjustment in length that hasn't been there. So a little heel hit is gonna bring the spin down. Not bad though.
Yeah, if I had that on course, I'd be happy.
If you could choke down on that 1/2 inch, that's it.
Okay.
Okay?
Oh, is it a longer club? Or?
No, it's just standard length. The ones that you hit the best were a little short, 1/2 inch short. Remember that you're kind of hitting it in the heel on some of these hits.
Yeah.
So if you keep hitting it in the heel, it would be really silly not to just go, why don't we make the club shorter or just get further away, right? And I don't want you to feel like you have to kind of reach for the golf ball or set it up off the toe. It's probably just a little shorter club in your hands. So 1/2 inch short. Yeah, really nice. So it's really cool. A lot of players will gravitate to one shaft manufacturer.
Yeah.
And both of the nip-on shafts that you hit, the 880, they also make a 950 that I just don't have.
Yeah.
So a little heavier shaft. And then you hit the Modus 105, which is, there's an upgrade to this shaft. I think it's like $30 more a shaft sort of thing.
Yeah.
But this is a lighter weight nip-on shaft. So both the nip-on shafts, you hit the best.
Yeah.
Their profile works great for you.
Okay.
Just so you know, we kind of moved away from dynamic gold almost immediately. You just didn't get the feedback that you wanted out of those ones. Yeah, this is nice. This is nice. Face is a little closed on some of these, but you're still holding spin, right? Like that face was 3 degrees closed to your path, and it's still kind of holding your spin. So let's see like a little bit of a fade and purposefully try to get this thing landing steep.
Okay.
Okay. It's a nice looking iron shot. It sounded a little low in the face, but really nice. Spin rate up there to around 51, 72. Good. Yeah, really good. How does that one feel?
It feels good. I think this feels, I guess, it feels light. It just feels a bit more stiff.
Yes.
I think.
Well, especially now that you've kind of choked down on it just a hair, right? We'll tighten up that shaft. I like the dispersion. So maybe what we'll do now is, because you've hit kind of all of them, we're in the ballpark of 90 to 105 gram shaft. So this is kind of cool, like depending on what avenue you want to go. Like if you're looking to kit yourself out with brand new T200s, or T150s and T200s kind of through the bag, then we go into the kind of shaft window and pick out the one that makes the most sense. Modus was really awesome. I don't know that you have to pay extra to get that shaft, because you probably just need something with the same category in terms of weighting. So a little lighter weight, a little higher launch, a little bit more spin assistance out of your shaft. So depending on what you're looking for, you might just have an idea and go, okay, I can probably shop these around and pick them up secondhand if that's possible, but you just have to make sure it all matches, because you are 2 degrees upright, ½ inch short. We're in a lighter weight, stiff shaft, and we're in sort of a combo set of irons. So my recommendation is probably that we're steering you into a new bag just based on those specs. It's going to be hard to find something that's exactly that. The most important, if you're sourcing it outside of new, you have to find the upright heads, and then you'd have to find the shaft maybe secondary if they're not all kind of the same thing.
The upright heads and stuff like that, is that something that can be adjusted or no?
A little bit. Yeah. So what happens when they build the heads out of the factory is they build the heads molded or shaped to what that lie angle is.
Yeah.
Metal really wants to return to like its final form, which is kind of cool. So like whatever iron we bend, it eventually will kind of like return to where it started from. The other thing that happens too is when we bend it, it alters the way that the sole kind of cambers through the turf. So now you're changing a little bit of lie angle. You're probably changing the bounce conditions a little bit. For most people, it's not noticeable. It's more important to have the club in the right lie angle. But when you order a 2 degree upright or 2 degree flat head, it's built like that. The shaft goes into it. They're not bending it to a standard head all over the place and putting fatigue in the ferrule or the hosel. But that's important, because it looks like that's where that club kind of wants to sit underneath you, is in that window. Anything that was like a little longer or a little kind of flatter for you, you just weren't finding the center, and you were starting to get some heel hits, and they get too close to those like really heel hits.
There's a couple shanks in there.
Right. We don't want those. So you want to have that club in kind of in the pocket for you that you can kind of swing it through. So if I go back to kind of the whole thing, we look at your dispersion with all of them here. But if we kind of go through, actually what I'll do is I'll do it individually. I'll go like this. Take out all those. Okay, so we'll start with, that was, where are we there? So there's T150 with that nip-on shaft.
Yep.
Is that right? Or that's not changing? Okay, so we'll have to go through here. So this is, here we go. So this is T100 S300. So a little wild. There's T150 with AMT white heavy. Couldn't get through it. Pretty funny, isn't it? It's like, it's so heavy that you couldn't get it going, couldn't release the club head. Here's T200 with that nip-on shaft, and it was like, boom. You're like, whoa, wait a minute, that's different. Great shots. Now the pattern's changed. Almost too lively, right? Now we're getting to kind of like a little further than we want. Here's T150 with a S300. This was a shorter shaft. This was the best performance, in my opinion, as far as missing it without the big Y pattern miss, without the big tilted circle, short ones and long ones. This is literally just missing a little left and right. So this one is a pretty nice matchup for control, which is kind of cool. This one was the last one. So this one, oh, that was Modus, right? So that's Modus with T200 that you were cannoning, and then this was, okay, let's reel it back in. This is a nice performance. This is Nippon 880 T150. Yeah, this is nice. This kind of matches your shot shape a little bit. Like if you're a drawer, we should see golf balls over here, but you just have to sort of like aim this a little bit differently. We look at your launch conditions. Maybe the land angle's a little shallow on some of these ones here. I tell you, that one's pretty good too. Yeah, okay, so we're right there. It makes sense. We're between the lightest version that you could get in a steel shaft and not much heavier than that.
What's your take on, I think now they make graphite shafts for irons, or they're more popular?
I steer clear unless someone's looking at picking up club head speed. So graphite shafts can go as light as like 40 or 50 grams maybe in an iron, but probably closer to around 60 grams. They still, because of the way that they build the shafts, they still have a lot more torque. So if you miss it toe and heel, it'll assist you a little bit more. It just takes your feedback away from a good player, and it takes a little bit of the spin away. Again, it's built for more acceleration. So I very rarely go there unless someone is either struggling to pick up distance or speed, or they're looking for just a softer feel, either like joint issues, hand issues, something lighter that they can kind of swing around. So don't feel bad that we didn't try graphite. It's just not something I steer many people into. There's lightweight steel shafts. Okay, let me pull up my little book here. So the way it works then is, if we look at kind of like the iron shaft comparison, we're looking at something that kind of helps you a little bit more, right? So your 880, it's, not surprising that the Nippon 880 and 850, so that's really lightweight and a little bit kind of the one that we hit, is in the same range as a Tensi, which is a graphite shaft. There's the 950, which I think would be kind of optimal for you. Is like, we only tried this one, and then we jumped to the Modus, which is 105, and the Modus is probably right here, right? So now we're getting into sort of mid and low mid spin. We want to keep you here somewhere. We want to keep you in like higher launches because you don't have a ton of spin on the golf ball, and we want to give you a little bit of spin in this category here. So a lot of these are graphite shafts or lightweight steel. This one seems to be a nice option. And in these guys here, you can kind of see like lighter weight steel shafts. So KBS light, steel fiber, which is a lighter weight shaft, dynamic gold, 100 gram or 105. So we're kind of in that like, keep it to around 100 gram shaft, stiff, that kind of fits in that category. I don't think that we go wrong with any of those in there. That's kind of the way that works.
Okay.
And again, I have players who are there, right? Like who need the lowest, boardiest spin removal or whatever. So that's why that matrix exists. I like the T200 in your hand. I like the way you hit it. You probably like the way it felt. When you get a 6-iron in your hand, are you thinking as a 6-iron, is it still a scoring club for you? Or are you then maybe shifting to like, it'd be nice to hit the green? It'd
be nice. The 5 and 6, I'm a bit iffy on.
I think the 7-iron for you should be what you hit today, should be the T150. So that's where my recommendation is going to break. And I think at 6-iron, you go 6-iron, 5-iron, 4-iron in the T200. And then you can kind of play around with what happens after that. But I think that's kind of what I sort of see as the set goes. The pitching wedge is 44 degrees in the T150. So then your gapping at the bottom end of that bag becomes kind of important. You just have to know where you want to lean one way or the other.
Yeah.
Because we're going to probably put either one extra club in there or squeeze or even out the gaps to kind of match.
Yeah, so, because my gap wedge is 50.
Yeah,
I think, yeah,
right. So it's a fairly big jump.
Yeah.
That's 6 degrees, and it's a Vokey 50 or whatever.
Yeah.
That rebounds it at a kind of 1-to-1 ratio, whereas your iron's going to rebound it at like we saw like 1.4. So there's going to be a big jump in distance between those two irons for you. So then you're going to have to do with loft. So then they make a gap wedge as part of the iron set.
Yeah.
That is 48 degrees.
Yeah.
And then your 50 degrees should probably be a 52. Then we're maybe looking at like what happens after that. Or do you just squeeze all those gaps into 3 wedges? I find that most players, if they go stronger lofts in the irons, they probably end up with another wedge at the bottom. You shouldn't end up with too much stacked up at the top of this. It shouldn't be like 5 iron, 4 iron, 3 iron, hybrid, 2 fairway woods and a driver.
I hope you guys enjoyed the video and learned a lot about the iron fitting process. So going into this, I had the intention of either buying a used set of irons with some new shafts based on this fitting, or either just purchasing the shafts and putting them in my current AP2s, just because I wanted to try to save some money because there are some other changes that I want to be making in the bag. So as you would have saw during this fitting, my iron requirements were pretty specific, and finding that combination together was quite challenging. I did a quick search on Second Swing and nothing came up. The site actually crashed, and I don't know if that just means that there was nothing in those particular categories, but yeah, I just couldn't find anything. So for my particular requirements, I needed 2 degrees upright in the lie angle. A lot of my strikes were near the heels, so having it more upright will bring that contact pattern near the middle of the face. And also to help with that, we're shortening the shaft by 1/2 inch. And last, I have trouble getting spin on my irons, so I need to find a head that promotes more spin. Now, to be honest, I haven't actually determined which irons I want to get, whether it was the set from Titleist, the blend between the T100, T150, and the T200s. Or if I might go with TaylorMade. I saw TaylorMade does have a Black Friday sale, so I might go with the TaylorMades and do a blend of the 770s and the 790s. So haven't fully decided yet, but you will see the irons in my What's in the Bag video, which will be coming out once I get those irons. I will be customizing my new irons with some of these Rip It grips. I thought these were pretty cool. It's a cool way to add some flair to your golf game. This is my own set right here, but you know, I did want to give back to you guys because I wouldn't be in this place without your support. So I thought it'd be a great idea to do a giveaway. I'm gonna do 3 little giveaways just so that way we can share the love a bit more. So the first giveaway, I want to give away this putter grip, and I thought it would be a good idea to give it away to someone who commented on my putter video I made a while back ago. Just an earlier supporter of the channel. All right, so let's just quickly run the results for this giveaway. And the winner is Conray West. So I'll reply to your comment on that video, and if you don't end up wanting it, then I'll just rerun the giveaway. And so for the last giveaway, I'm going to be giving away 3 grips. So these 3 and then these 3. In order to qualify, you'll need to like this video, subscribe, and comment your favorite golf brand. It could be equipment, apparel, just anything golf related. You know, I want to find some more cool brands just like Rip It grips. And so guys, leave a comment down below which brand you guys like. So I'll be announcing the giveaway winners in future videos. One giveaway winner will be announced during my golf fashion video, which will be posted in a couple of weeks. And then the next winner will be announced in my What's in the Bag video, which will be posted once I do have my irons. And then so in order to claim the prize, you just have to reach out to me 7 days within the video being posted. If not, I will rerun the giveaway. And so yeah, hopefully you guys will enjoy these grips. I think they are pretty cool, colorful, and yeah, I think they're a vibe. And guys, if you weren't lucky in the giveaways or you wanted specific kind of grips, I do have a discount code. Use code Chonger for 10% off Rip It grips. Leave it down below in the description. So that will conclude this video. Hope to see you guys in the next one. Have a good day. Thanks for watching. Peace.